Warning, this video may contain spoilers for Trepang 2. Side effects of spoilers can include, but are not limited to, diarrhea, difficulty breathing, meningitis, or death. If you or someone you know suffers from these symptoms after experiencing spoilers, please ask Reddit if you should consult a doctor. You know, my mind is kind of an enigma to a lot of people, myself included. Some of the inner processing that goes on in my head is just downright incorrect. For example, I think Fallout New Vegas is Like, imagine you just got done watching a movie, and on your way home you're thinking about how amazing it was. So you get home and find out that it was a resounding failure in the box office and everyone hates it, and you're just sitting there like, oh, that's why I was the only person in the theater. And you just feel like an idiot. See, now take that and apply it to fucking everything, and that's what it feels like in my brain. But I can confidently say that after playing Trepang 2, or is it Trepang Square, I finally feel whole. Because this shit right here, this is what's going on in my head. Holy shit, this game has enough testosterone in it to help someone transition. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, so Trepang 2 is an action-packed FPS made by Trepang Studios? Huh, can't wait for Fallout Studios to make another Skyrim. But Trepang 2 is genuinely awesome, and if you're wondering, what about Trepang 1? Then I'd say, we don't talk about Trepang 1, because like my tax returns, it doesn't exist. Now, the best way to describe Trepang 2 is if the developers of Doom decided to take ketamine instead of crack, and if they had a lower budget, because of all the ketamine. And the end result is this action-packed, beautiful mess with NPCs that actually get a good laugh from me a lot of the time. Okay, enough about oozing over how amazing this game is. I think I should actually talk about it. So stop distracting me. Starting with the most important, and definitely not just there in the background to give you an excuse to go shoot people, with the story. So the story is basically just an afterthought. At least it feels that way to me. I mean, who really gives a shit about the story and the PDFs telling you the details of this world when I have so many funerals I'm trying to make close to casket? But essentially the story is you play as Subject 106. Not a very interesting name, but I guess it has more characters than V. And you are essentially a genetically modified super soldier. What an interesting and totally unique idea. And you are eventually broken out by a mysterious figure and are told that you've been away for a very long time. What an interesting and totally... So you then go on to fight for the organization that saved you, known as the Syndicate, and join up with Task Force 27. After doing so, you were told to fight the big evil corporation that had kept you captive, known as Horizon. Now, who is the Syndicate and what are their intentions and goals? I don't fucking know, man. You play as a mute protagonist and he never cared to ask. All I know is that I can dropkick people and manhandle them like a teenager discovering what masturbation is. So yeah, throughout the campaign of the game, you fight through hordes of enemies at different bases to hurt Horizon's operation. Sometimes unlocking new abilities like being able to dual wield almost any weapon in the game. Almost every weapon. Which is just such a badass feature, it makes no sense. Trying to do this in real life would break your shoulders. But it's so fucking awesome, and this game is so batshit crazy that I don't care. Now, the only notable part of the story that actually stuck out to me, besides the one where you visit the fucking back rooms, is there's one mission where you're unable to rescue everyone, so to make sure they can't be captured and leak information, you're ordered to execute them, even after you just killed a ton of bad guys trying to defend them. Don't ask why I used a sword instead of a gun. But as a result of this, the whole base of friendlies defects to the enemy side since they know that they're just a resource for the Syndicate. So you end up having to kill all of them too, and it just fucking sucks, man. But then in the next mission, you fight a submarine as a boss fight, so it's not all bad. Jesus Christ, dude, this game feels like the type of shit toddler me would imagine when I played with my Star Wars action figures. Speaking of boss fights, Trepang 2 actually has this really cool feature where when you're fighting a boss and you hear them talking to you, if you're shooting them while they're doing so, you can actually hear the bullets ricocheting off of them. And I just think that's such a cool detail that I've never seen anywhere else. Now eventually, after completing all of the main quests, you converge on the main HQ of Horizon and kill the evil CEO. But oh no, what a surprise, the people you work for you've helped backstab others end up betraying you. What a twist! So while they take their time killing me, like seriously, why didn't they just shoot me in the head while I was unconscious? You decide to get back at them by detonating the nuclear warhead in the building, and in the process discover that your name 106 represents a cycle that has been happening, as the person who rescued you was 105, and they try to stop you by sticking 107 on you, and you decide to break the cycle, and let it all come to an end. And with that, the nuke goes off, and the evil organization is defeated, and everyone is dead. But at least it unlocks you this pizza skin. So this is what I get for beating the final boss. What the fuck is wrong with me? I mean, what is there to say about the gameplay that you can't already see? It has so many great things about it, from the ability to use people as grenades, to being able to slow down time and feel like an absolute badass doing so, to the enemy's realistic and sometimes funny reactions to fighting a soldier who just wiped out 4 squads of men single-handedly.
What the fuck? Do we have any men left? Negative, sir. All squads are down. We're the only ones left. Fuck it. The rest of you with me.
There's a lot to love about this game. It's simultaneously badass and silly at the same time, and it's just so endearing. I just love it so much. You can tell that the developers behind this game just had an absolute blast making it, just as much as I had playing it. This game just has such a personality to it, and you feel that personality on every level you play. I mean look, even I'm in the game, there's some anxious hazmats. And you might be wondering how I know they're anxious, but I think you would be too if your boss told you to go against this guy. Speaking of guys wearing gas masks, that's like every single character in this game. And if it's not a gas mask, then it's a balaclava or some mechanical mask to cover their face. Cause you see, facial animations are hard and expensive, and you gotta worry about the uncanny valley effect. So it's much easier and arguably cooler looking to just slap a gas mask on someone and boom! You just save so much money on development, especially after investing in all these screaming sound effects. Now I will say that I do have one genuine complaint about the game. Like, it's not some game-breaking bug or feature, but it was annoying enough that I decided to talk about it. So basically, whenever a character is talking to you through your earpiece, which happens a lot, the developers decided that in order to make you hear them, they would lower the volume of everything else so that you can hear this person talk. Which just really takes you out of the experience. Like, imagine being super immersed in your bloodshed, and then all of a sudden...
This is Phil from the Small Wiener Club. Sorry to get back to you so late. I just finished reviewing your application and information you sent in, but I am sorry to say that I don't think I can allow you to join our group. From what I'm looking at, your wiener is massive. I mean, the sheer girth and juiciness alone is ridiculous. It looks as if somebody glued a forearm to the bottom of your torso. You could probably stand on it like a tripod, and that's not even mentioning how fat your nuts are.
Except sometimes the person talking would still sound so fucking quiet that I'd have numerous times where the person that's trying to talk to me and I could barely make out what they were saying against the gunshots that I also could now barely hear. And it just got really annoying. But that's really all I have to say that's objectively bad about this game to me, which is really telling. Especially from a game that was initially being made by one developer who was using it to try and learn the Unreal Engine. Eventually over time, however, the team grew to 4 people, and then it got a publisher, Team 17, who are behind the publishment of games like Hell Let Loose and Overcooked. I just love hearing stories like this, where a game made by a few people ends up being really successful. It just makes me super happy. And overall, if you're looking for a game to turn your brain off and have an absolute blast of a time, then I would definitely recommend Trepang 2. It is short, with it only being about 7 to 10 hours worth of content, but not everything needs to be 50 to 100 hours worth of fetch quests. I would much rather 7 hours of this than 100 hours of this. God, the modern game industry sometimes makes me want to take a working curling iron and shove it right up my urethra. Where were we again? Oh yeah, concluding the video. So yeah, the game isn't going to leave you thinking about how engaging its story is, but it will put a smile on your face while you're making bodies so disformed that not even their own mothers will recognize them. But with that, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and remember to go out and get some vitamin D, but without the vitamin.